Good morning, my loves. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Bing, and today I wanted to do a little dialogue in defense of Gen Z, which is my generation. I was born in '99, and I don't know, that's just how life is. I was just born when I was born, and I just feel like there's not only is there a lot of rhetoric and hate directed towards my generation, there's no understanding, um, there's no grace given. Uh, I think there's also, a lot of things that we've been through. Uh, there's, you know, the Y2K and the internet age. There's 9/11. Dick Cheney made money off the Iraq War. 2008 financial crisis. Obama, Trump won. COVID, Trump too. So that's kind of what, oh, and the wars and the genocides and all of that, of course. That's what we get to see. That's what we get to wake up to every morning in our young lives. And um, I just think that we've seen our institutions and structures dissolve and cannibalize themselves and destroy everything that they've come in touch with. And I, I don't think we can be put into that same society, those same structures anymore because they mean nothing to us. Um, I I'd love to hear what people have to say as well. If you're Gen Z or not Gen Z, so sound out in the comments, like and subscribe. I just think that there's a lot of things that Gen Z have been through, and we've grown up into it, and I've like experienced these things and how they've fundamentally changed the human experience, I think. Like, I've also been a teacher, I've had many careers, and I've seen the effects of the pandemic and like the integration of virtual life into daily life for like Gen A and Gen Z, and how it's really changing how people behave. Um, I just think that we don't get enough credit. I don't know if that's like, I don't asking too much. Not only have we been through a lot, but then we get attacked. Like, we get attacked in the workplace. We don't get respected in the workplace. And maybe that's how work is. Maybe young and up and coming people are, not respected in the workplace. Maybe no one's respected in the workplace. Maybe I don't know anything. Uh, but I think that the whole return to office, and again, I'm kind of out of the talks now because I'm not employed, but these these kind of weird ways that the older generations, millennials, Gen X, whatever, that they try to control or reestablish these structures and control Gen Z's behaviors and things like that. First of all, I think it backfires. It will backfire. Um, and I don't think you get it anymore. Like, we are now the people. We are now the workforce. I I respect wisdom and experience and appreciate guidance, but the the Gen Z, the generation that, I'm a part of, I don't think we respect work or the sanctity of the workplace or work or whatever. We don't respect many things anymore. And I personally wasn't really raised with those ideas of like the norms and the, traditional ideas of safety and security, the illusions that society like props up in front of us to make us think that, you know, the world is turning properly or something. I I think that there's conflict between the young people coming up in this world and also the people who have been around for a while. And like when I was getting, not the time I was getting fired, but in talks before, one of the bosses, and these are white women, by the way, in the equity space, they were, one of them was like, you need to figure out how you fit into the society of this organization. I'm like, "Oh, why would I want to fit into your broken society? The society that does nothing that it says it should do, you know?" And you know, I was a teacher, so I had a lot of students who were like working or um generally international, but like working in international positions or interested in like international things. And one of the things that I would use was David Foster Wallace, the late David Foster Wallace's "This Is Water" commencement speech. And, you know, it kind of reiterates that life draining daily grind. There was a comment also in my previous video, my jobless rant, which I guess this is another one of them. I guess every rant that I do is a jobless rant. Uh, but the comment said, like, even if you, from the commenter's experience, like, you achieve success and wealth in the traditional way, in the traditional pathways, and they're not it. Like, people are still miserable. And I just, then I'm like, what is it all, what are we doing here? That's like my major question for the audience, for the people watching at home. What are you doing here? What are we doing here? Because if it is money and it is societal success, whatever that means, and yet those people are still always like Elon Musk. He's the wealthiest, most, you know, he's very well known. He's successful. He's famous, and we know he's miserable. We know he's a miserable person. Um, and so it's like, really, what kind of world are we creating? I feel like, and I'm in the middle of reading an article in the Guardian. Um, the I saw it on Sam Cedars. Not, it wasn't Sam Cedar, but it was the Majority Report. And it's pretty much like this descent into fascism. They are, you know, moving towards rapture, with the idea of rapture and like, you know, and then also they're perpetuating it. Like, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, if you think that the end of the world is going to come and then you rapidly move the world towards the end of the world, then the end of the world. um so yeah, that's just been an interesting, I'm listening to it. But of course, so many people have been laid off, so AI is, you know, we all knew it was going to happen. And so thousands, hundreds, thousands, even like percentages, like you can see 70% of a workforce being completely gone. These are people who, you know, we have to pay the bills, we have mouths to feed. Like, it's just so strange. It's just so strange. Like, I feel like the concepts of money and the concepts of work and like purpose and meaning in life are really being transformed, and I think Gen Z is the going to be the one to transform it um for themselves. And I think Gen A is gonna hit it hard because Gen A has a completely different like vibe. They're super chaotic, I feel, and I get it. I get why they're chaotic. I raised and taught Gen A children in Australia and Thailand, and they're online, and they don't hold back, and they're destructive, and they're also super concerned about like bacteria in health because they went through the pandemic. But then they also saw that so many of our institutions failed us, so like they don't care, they just steal. Or there's so many school shooters, or mass shootings these days from like young, I mean, it's honestly usually, you know boys in high school, or boys my age, young men who are taking out their hostilities, their their sense of entitlement that they think that's been ripped away from them, and they take it out on the world to try and re-establish, or like enforce their dominance. But that's just, it's not the world anymore. And I think that's what the Trump administration is doing. I mean, they're trying something. um as the stocks rise and fall, I mean, how can we be expected to take anything seriously anymore? um I just, yeah, that's kind of my major thing. Like, I've talked about it before. What is career? Like, okay, so we need to eat and we need to sleep inside, preferably. When I was backpacking, it was literally just, do I have a bed tonight? And can I feed myself? So I'm a little hungry. I'm gonna go to the Farmar later. Yay. A little treat. Just gonna get some groceries, out of food in the fridge. But yeah, even like grocery prices, they're just, I mean, they're so arbitrary. I feel like it's so like, what even matters? And I think we have to create that meaning for ourselves. And I think that's going to be a huge discussion amongst my generation of like, what are we really like doing here? And I'm on my little creative, like struggling, starving artist journey. Um, and I think I'd love to see a world where we can all be free and be ourselves, and be free to be our true selves, and then also like add and contribute to the world in a way that connects us all more to each other in a very pure way. Um, I think it's in a way happening because of the democratization and globalization of the online landscape, but I also think that it's been corrupted in a sense, back to the whole manosphere thing. I've kind of been in on that. Um, ContraPoints, FD Signifier, kind of those video documentary essays about like what is going on with young men. Uh, and yeah, I think there's a huge like transformation breakthrough going on. I think a lot of people are waking up or awake to the fact that, you know, patriarchy benefits no one, capitalism benefits the few, white hegemony benefits the few, and that we've got to, take a little accountability and create our world for ourselves. Um, I guess even if it takes giving up the illusion of stability through that 9 to 5 corporate career. You just, hour commute to an office, sit on a computer, send some emails, hour commute, dinner, do it again, drink away your problems on the weekends, um, kind of cycle. I think we have to break it because it's not doing us good. We're just, oh, what is that? We're like we're stagnated in our false sense of security. And then, you know i mean really, what is success? I mean, really, what is a worthy pursuit? Yeah, I don't know. I think that's okay. mm, yeah. I'm interested in what and maybe what others have to say. Again, like not everybody is as like, positioned in a way that they can just, be like, oh, like, I don't have any dependents. I'm gonna do a plant mom struggles video, but like I know some people have children that like rely on them for, feeding and teaching and things. But, if you're like a free agent and you're not being tied down by anything, like really, like what are we living and dying for? I think, you know, it's a big question for this generation to grapple with, because it's not just that nothing matters, because that's nihilistic. It's like nothing matters. Nothing matters. But it's also like this sense, this spiritual warfare, as the I guess the right calls it, this the cultural wars. This like what like how can we expand and reach our highest selves and potential? And I think that the systems, which again I'm into the politicking of it all, the politics of it all these days. So kind of like Trump's doomsday people, they're that self-fulfilling prophecy of we're moving towards the rapture, we're perpetuating the rapture, we're like fulfilling the prophecy ourselves. And as they destroy, truly, really, did our government work? Really, we have the prison industrial and military industrial complex. We have those are our slaves. Like we were never free. Like white people, white men are still in charge, have been, like. But now that they've really destroyed it, they're like in the physical world, that they are really really tearing those institutions and structures down. And what does that leave us with? That so it's left us with millions of people, or over a million people, without jobs, without income. And also with AI, those people, thousands of people, so many people in the work should be in the workforce, not in the workforce, worried about, how can I feed my kids, or how can I feed myself, or how can I pay the bills and keep the lights on and stuff. I think it's a great time for renewal. I think we have to really look deeply and be still with ourselves, and I guess hopefully follow our true highest paths. I don't know, I am getting very Buddhist with it, but I think it's true. Like these structures and institutions and the people who perpetuate them. So the people who are still working, the older generations who are in these positions, I was fired. So like those people who act like they're woke, or act like, those kinds of things, it's all talk, it's all an illusion. Like, what are we really here for? I'm so interested in if anybody's got something to say about it. Um, I wasn't really raised with these, you know, uh, religion and like, work and, kind of the traditional norms. So I feel like I've even got like a leg up. So like I wasn't really in it, so it's easy for me to, kind of sidestep it. But I'm interested in people who are doing that locked in corporate grind set hustle culture. Like, you're working for the man, you know, and you live comfortably, I'm sure, but is it all it is? Yeah. So yeah, sound off in the comments. I think that's all I have to say. I've tried to do this video, I think, um, a few times, and I just think that Gen Z deserves a little grace. Give us a little time to figure it out, figure ourselves out, figure it out, and help each other out. Uh, and I think there's gonna be a better better life, better world, hopefully, once people can like step into their own power and their own true selves, and then be guided from there. But I don't think that these established, the traditional structures are, well, they're barely there. I mean, they're barely even there anymore. But I really think that they're not allowing us. They're not serving us anymore. So we got to let them go and make space for something new. And like, as any revolution, the kings, the czars, the um dictators, you know, like something new will come out of the dark times. Hopefully something bright and beautiful. Okay, I think that's all I have to say. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go eat lunch now, and I'm gonna enjoy a sunny day. I hope you have a beautiful day as well, and thank you for watching. Okay, bye bye.